Morning, Kevin.
Morning, Sully. How are you today?
Good, man. Dragging a little bit after yesterday's marathon softball and baseball action. That was a long day.
It was a long day, but I think it was a very entertaining day.
Sure, man. Give us some of your thoughts on the public group finals, and we also have some non-public semis to talk about. First off, let's break down the public. Any surprises there?
I don't think so. I think those four sectional finals went pretty much as planned. Between when we finally got down to the final, and I think you look at the scores, they were all pretty well as I kind of thought they would be, and the teams obviously, I think the ones that we figured were going to rise to the top have, and the big, Clearview knocking off Millville 3-0 in Group 4. Clearview holds that number one seed. You look at Group 3 with Ocean City. You look at Group 2 with West Deptford, and even coming down to Group 1 with Pennsville. In 4, 3, and 2, all top seeds won their championships, and in a lot of years that doesn't happen. And in Group 1, Pennsville was the 2 seed, so. For a 2 seed, number 1 seed Haddon Heights obviously didn't get there, but the 2 seed in Pennsville does and wins. So, I think the tournament, while it had its upsets here and there, the teams that earned the right to call themselves a top seed, earned the right to be among the best, demonstrated why they got there, and then they took care of business yesterday.
Kevin, we've been talking a lot about the pitching in South Jersey, and guys like Jason Groom and Tyler Mondale have kind of dominated the headlines for the most part. Give me your impressions of Shawn Mooney. He's got to be up there in the conversation when you're talking about the best pitchers in South Jersey.
Sully, I think that you mentioned Mondale, you mentioned Groom, and obviously two very talented players, two talented kids who are going to be drafted, no doubt. But when it comes down to it this season, and you break down what they were able to do and the quality of competition that they played, I stand pretty firm in that Shawn Mooney is the best pitcher in South Jersey high school baseball this season. Is he the best pitcher moving forward, projecting what these kids are capable of doing at the next level, whether it be college or professional? I don't know. But when it comes down to this particular season, when each one of those kids took the mound and what they were able to do, Shawn Mooney is clearly demonstrated he is the best pitcher in South Jersey baseball this season. And people can argue that, and they'll argue that until they're blue in the face. How can you say how can you say Jason Groom is not the best pitcher? How can you say Tyler Mondale is not the best pitcher? I've seen all three kids. I saw Jason Groom get hit around a little bit. I saw Tyler Mondale get hit around a little bit. I never saw Shawn Mooney get hit around a little bit. The kid has a fastball that it may rank third amongst those three kids, but he's got a devastating curveball. He throws a changeup here or there, and he just dominates, and he competes. And that's the thing. Shawn Mooney, the thing I like most about Shawn Mooney is that he pitches with a bit of an attitude. And, when people on the sidelines, and we're talking about adults chirping at high school kids, and we're talking, I'm okay when two teams go at it back and forth and they're chirping a little bit, and they're going at it, they're kids, they're competing. But when you have parents on the sideline chirping at a high school kid on the mound, I have a problem with that. But Shawn Mooney took that and he basically said, okay, I don't care what day of the week it is, I'm pitching and I'm shutting you down, and you can go home and I'm going home with the hardware. And that's exactly what has happened this season. Shawn, and I like that. He's borderline. I've seen a lot of kids, and I want to kind of say borderline cocky to a degree, only to a degree. But when you can back it up and you can shut people down the way he does, and you can feed off of that emotion and not let that moment deter what you're doing, that's a sign of a kid who can take that and use it to his advantage. And this season I saw Shawn pitch, I believe, 3 times. And I came away all 3 times completely impressed.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between being cocky and being brash. He's not in any way brash, but he will, like you said, use that fuel of the opposing fans, the opposing team, and he'll give you he'll give you a little razzle at the end of an inning when he strikes somebody out, but that's kind of his personality when he's on the mound. I mean, great kid off the mound. Can't say enough good things about him and his family off the mound. They're just great people. But like you said, when you get down to really high-level competitive baseball, you want a guy like that on the mound, and you see how the guys on his team really respond to when he's on the mound. They kind of have an extra pep in their step.
Yeah, I think, it's human nature, but they are clearly a different baseball team when he's on the mound. They're very, very good when he's not on the mound. When Josh Arnold's pitching or Nick Artemowicz's pitching, they're still very, very good, and the numbers show that. But when Shawn Mooney takes the mound, it's just a little bit different of an emotion, because those kids on that team, they know one run's all they need, and Shawn's going to shut them down. And it's, you'd say that, and you're like, oh, it's high school baseball, anything can happen. But Shawn Mooney has only needed one run all season, and you can't argue with that fact at this point in the year. He has just been that good. And like I said, I've talked to the kid after games many a time. Great kid. But I like the fact that he pitches with a little bit of emotion, just enough to let everybody else know I'm on the mound and you're going to have to beat me.
Another guy I've been impressed with this year, St. Augustine Prep, they lost Mike Vastoria before the season even started with an injury. He was scheduled to be kind of their ace. And a kid named Chris Morganwick really stepping up and leading that team to maybe a place a lot of people didn't think they could get to, non-public A semis. Talk about that kid a little bit and what he's meant to that team. I mean, they've really they've kind of jumped on his back and ridden this all the way to the group's sectional semis.
Yeah, when they lost Vastoria at the beginning of the season, that was a big blow for them, because that took away some not only take away probably who was going to be their best pitcher on paper, but it took away depth. And Chris Morganwick has stepped up, and I saw Chris pitch 2-3 times this year. I saw him pitch against Gloucester Catholic. I saw him pitch against Camden Catholic in the Diamond. He does not have an overpowering fastball, but he knows how to pitch. He knows how to locate his pitches, and he's a competitor. And for people not to give him the kind of respect, that he deserves at this point is kind of shocking. He's a kid who, at the beginning of the season is going to be figured the number 3 pitcher. They lose Vastoria. Bill Chilari gets hurt a little bit. He can't throw. All of a sudden, Morganwick is your guy, and he delivered all season for them. And, you can't argue with the success that he's had on the mound. And he goes out yesterday and beats a team that most people in the state believed was either the best team in the state or the second best team in the state in Gloucester Catholic. So, he's got the job done. He's risen to the occasion, and he's another one that, he doesn't let the moment get to him. He stays calm. He's collected. He goes out. He does what he's supposed to do. As long as the guys behind him do what they're supposed to do, they've got a chance to win a ball game. And, here they are. No, I don't think anybody predicted St. Augustine was going to be playing for a sectional, a non-public A South championship. And here they are, one game away from playing in Toms River next Saturday. So, you got to give Morganwick, his credit.
We're talking with Kevin Minnick of the Courier-Post, talking a little high school baseball. Kevin, I ran into Shawn Mooney's dad after the game yesterday down in Ocean City, and he said, hey, Sully, make sure you mention the kid's Scafidi from Highland, Christian Scafidi. He said, what a great kid. Even after the loss, he came over, took some photos with the Ocean City guys, because he kind of looks like Artemowicz, so they were having a little fun with that. So he said, hey, make sure you mention this kid. He's an outstanding young man. So I thought I would definitely mention him. Give us a little bit more on this kid. I haven't seen him too much. I saw him play a little bit basketball and just one time in baseball. But sounds like a great young man.
He comes from an outstanding family. He's a kid, 2 sports, basketball and baseball. Outstanding basketball player. Not the quickest in the world, but used his size. He's about 6'4", borderline 6'5". Probably in the neighborhood of 230, maybe 240. I don't know if I'm pushing that or not, but he's a kid that in basketball used his size, knew what to do on the court to put himself in the best position to not only score, but to more or less rebound. He was a double-double every game, and I believe he averaged close to 17, 18 rebounds a game. So basketball-wise, very good. Baseball-wise, he's going to the University of Pennsylvania. Another kid that his fastball, I think, is deceptively quick. It doesn't pop as much as a Shawn Mooney fastball, as much as a Tyler Mondale, but he's got control of it. He knows how to hit the corners with it, and he's got off-speed pitches that are good. He's another kid who is a competitor, and another kid who, like I said with Morganwick, like I said with Mooney, doesn't allow the moment to get to him. Yesterday he could have easily been frustrated in the first inning when 2 errors allowed Dom Fiorentino to score what proved to be the winning run in that game with Ocean City. He didn't let it happen. He continued to play. He continued to compete. He continued to pitch pretty well. Got banged around a little bit in that decisive, I believe, the fifth inning.
Right.
But for the most part, a competitor and a kid that you would want him on your team. And you would want him on your team if you're playing wiffle ball. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's the kind of kid that you want. And he's a great teammate, a fabulous teammate. And, Highland loses a pretty special player in Christian Scafidi. Hopefully, maybe there's, I don't know if they can replace him in that way, but a tremendous kid, really a tremendous kid. And as far as that photo with Nicky Artemoa, I don't think Christian Scafidi has had a haircut since his freshman year of high school. That's how long it's been. So, obviously they resemble themselves. They could be brothers. Is kind of what it came down to.
Yeah, it was kind of funny when I stepped into the dugout. I got there a little bit late from the softball game, and Nick Artemoa, he looks at me and says, "Hey, guess what? I'm pitching for Highland today."
Yeah, I mean, if you Google both of them, because you come up with those two guys, and they look extremely, extremely similar.
Long lost brothers, right?
Yeah, they got together a little bit after the game. I was walking off the field and I saw Christian walk back onto the field. I was kind of surprised, but he went over there and they took a picture together. So, obviously that was a nice moment for those two guys.
Good stuff, Kevin. Appreciate it as always. We'll try to catch up with you next week as we'll have more high school baseball to talk about as we get into state championship weekend. Thanks, bud.
All right. Thanks again.
All right. That was Kevin Minnick of the Courier-Post.